Listen, I don't know about you, but I started a business so I could do this. Travel, be with friends, be with family, create memories. I didn't do it to sit at the computer all day. I didn't do it so that I could just be in countless emails and Zoom meetings. I did it to create opportunities for myself and opportunities for others. So listen, if that's something that interests you, enjoying time with your friends, being out and about, definitely drop by Erica Williams' Classy Climb blog. Check out the YouTube channel. We've got over 2,000 videos of free information that's actually changed people's lives. People actually post their new jobs, their new careers, their new businesses all the time over at the channel.
What's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica, Classy Climb blog. It is late at night, but I wanted to finish out this train of thought. I had a good long conversation earlier with some people. So I want to finish this out. Now, if you're in the Digital Liberty Warriors, it's a training coming up. So check your calendar. It's going to be called 13 Fridays until fall. 7 more Saturdays till college football. I'll kind of go over what are the products, services, different things, digital products, print on demand, unique one-off things you can do for the fall. Now you're going to say, Erica, how are you talking about the fall already? It's midsummer, and I'm going to just tell you right now, most people are just lollygagging, enjoying themselves. But if you are at all focused on your financial future, your kids' financial future, you're already in your head processing kids going back to school, how much that costs, how much it costs to go see the grandparents at Christmas and Thanksgiving. You're already doing the math. So while you're at it, I know it's a lot of decisions to make in the summer when kids are home, but you can brainstorm on the notes in your phone or on your laptop or on a piece of paper. You'll see when I talk about it inside the thing. Go on Alibaba, order it. By the time you're ready to sell something in September, October, November, it'll be here. Simple as that. Make it that simple. How about that? Okay. So I'll have that training in there. And then also, I think I had like a thing on my whiteboard that I'm going to go over. And I'll have a specialized video for that. This is called Shift in the Economy. Just enjoy the ride. New York City, $700 fine. Now I'm going to start this video off with 2 more serious topics and then go over the shift in the economy because I have a lot written down. A lot of times people say, what's your deal with New York? Why are you always beefing with New York? And I'm like, no, Chicago in the summer is amazing. Beautiful city, beautiful weather, lots of great food, kids out of control, right? New York City in the fall, one of the best. Upper New York, where you see all the leaves in the fall and stuff like that. New Hampshire, Rhode Island in the summer right now, amazing, beautiful. I'll make sure I show some videos and pictures of that here. The Midwest, right? Out in the not the Midwest, I meant to say Western states like Utah, Las Vegas, and some other places, amazing in the summer. Super hot, but also amazing, and then amazing in the fall. The problem when I talk to a lot of people is they ain't going nowhere. They ain't been nowhere. I referenced it in the past video. When you just think, I have to do real estate right here in California, I have to do real estate right here in New York, it is very limiting belief. It's very dangerous belief. And you may not have the money to play in that city. And what does the money mean? I'm talking about fines. I'm talking about stuff. I've been lucky that the fines and the blight tickets and stuff that we've occurred in Detroit and Cleveland have been like so minus. I'm like, oh, no problem. I will pay the local countryman $50 every month to come cut the grass. No problem. I'll just set that up with him and Zelle him every month or something. You know what I mean? Like if I have to do that at extremes. But when you're talking about these New York cities, you're talking about big, big boy fines. And some of y'all are not ready for that. You can't play in that field. You'll be bogged down in for years. Now, when I saw this video of this man, my first thought is, I would never put another dime in New York. Not a never dime. Now, the reason people get bogged down in a particular city or particular state is finances. I'm meeting more and more adults every single day that I tell them, hey, military kid, lived in Alaska, lived overseas, lived here, lived there. They're just like, I'm meeting white people on a frequent basis. We're like, I only been out of 1-2 states with my parents, or we just always go to Florida for the beach and we just come right back here. And you'd be like, we live in Texas. The flights to Mexico are $100. The flights, Oklahoma ain't no. You can go to New Orleans. You can go to the casino in Oklahoma. You can go to Arkansas. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I'm referencing in the Digital Liberty Warriors, the training for 13 days to fall, 13 Fridays to fall, and 7 Saturdays to college football. People have whole identities, items, particles, t-shirts, you name it, licensed and unlicensed material. It's an experience economy. But let me get back focused to New York. I know y'all like get back on the rails. If you could drop your city and state in the chat, I'd love that. Thank you so much. Put it in the comments. Appreciate you. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's go ahead and share this clip. And it's one of my favorite New Yorker channels, but he showed it just to show you how inept, New York is.
$700,000 for a fine. $700,000. I rented an apartment to a tenant. The tenant subdivided the rooms. Each fine was $50,000. I went to the court. I told the judge I didn't have nothing to do with it. This was through the pandemic. And they told me in order for you to cure the fines, you have to accept guilt. It took me 3 years to evict this tenant. And now I have to, in order for me to cure the fines, I have to accept the guilt. I have an attorney calling me, harassing me. Oh, let's settle for $300,000. That's crazy. I didn't do this. I didn't cause this.
To make sure I understand, these violations were for illegal conversions.
She subrented rooms. I didn't have no knowledge. I'm currently suing her to the Supreme Court. I took DOB to the Supreme Court as well. I'm waiting for it. That's what I'm waiting for. But I have an attorney. They're actually putting it in my taxes. Oh. So now I have to take it to the Supreme Court and put a pause and see if the judge will hear me out. The lady, the tenant, is willing to testify. She did this. But I have nothing to do with this. But now the guy is telling me, refinance the house, give us $300,000. But why should I even give him any money? Right. I didn't do this.
But unfortunately, this is one of the challenges from our standpoint. We don't know who the tenants are. We can't identify who has done this work. It is your property. It's something that I hope the court can give you. I hope the court can give you the relief that you're looking for. From the buildings department standpoint, an illegal conversion is an unsafe scenario. There are plenty of challenges associated with fires. There are more fires now than before because of the illegal e-bike charging that has been going on. It's not just the tenants' lives that are at risk in that illegally converted unit. It's other people in that building. It's the neighboring buildings. It's the first responders that have to go in there. How are we to determine after the fact who made what conversions? I do think that it sounds like you're on the right path with court. I can't advise you one way or the other as to what to accept from that standpoint. But if you have this tenant willing to testify in court that they're the ones who committed all of this, that maybe this is something, a penalty that can be assessed to her rather than to you from that standpoint. But from the buildings department perspective, we can't go to, imagine us going to the standpoint where we're registering every individual tenant. It's just not feasible.
At the moment.
So think about that. Instead of this guy saying, we can remove the fines. Because let's be honest, all he had to do is take pictures before, show you was the rental listing. Now, the fact that it took 3 years to evict her during COVID, and not only that, the girl is subletting the different rooms. Just greed on greed. This is why when y'all taught me about New York and Detroit, I'm like, Detroit, it took us 2 years. And the girl had a whole man in there, her kids, she getting child support, she getting food. Come to find out, she got her aunt to put it under her social security number because her aunt already got a house. Her aunt already got a car. I just want y'all to understand, when y'all talk about just take them to court, Erica, just sue them in court, Erica, it don't work. I want y'all to understand, people, you can put liens on people's credit. You put liens on people's social security number, their businesses. Let me tell you, this is what happens. If they never sell their house, if they never have to buy another house with a mortgage, it don't matter. I literally met people in Detroit where I ended up talking with them over lunch. He had over $500,000 in liens against him from court cases and all that stuff. He literally just goes to land bank and other places and buys the houses cash. So he's got like 9, 10 rentals and he's pulling in money and there's liens on him. And he's just like, what they gonna do? I'm never selling. What are they gonna do? Nothing. This is why I keep trying to get y'all to understand, like, I'll just take it to court. So this man is spending years. Now, the pandemic is 2025. Let's just say it took her 3 years after 2020. So 2023 got her out. It's been a 2-year ordeal. This man's heart and blood pressure sound high. Okay. Probably a Spanish lady did it to him. He sounds Spanish. I'm going to just go there. New York. He said people tell him refinance his house to pay the fine. The fine was $700,000. Clearly we can, hey, you guys, can we fix this? Can we reduce this? Can we, as a city, take it away? The guy's talking about illegally charging e-bikes. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. That has nothing to do with this man's case. But I think what he tried to do is be safe because the man has said he's taking it to Supreme Court. In my opinion, and I put it in the comments under multiple of my profiles, if I was this man, I'd never take another dime and put it in New York. I would refinance that house. And I wouldn't pay that fine. I'd go take that money and I would go buy 2 properties in Virginia, in North Carolina, in South Carolina, in Georgia. The amount of rental income he will make being out of state, where he can just pay $125 for an LLC in North Carolina and go rent them 2 properties out and get that money, it will put him at peace of mind. I'm being real for real. I wouldn't put another dollar in New York. But when you think you can play the big boy game in New York, they're showing you they are anti-landlord. They are not friendly. They're not tax friendly. They're trying to vote in a mayor who's backed by Soros, right? I had a whole 2 hours I was going to do on New York, a whole video. And I just said, I'm stopping. I'm enjoying my vacation. I'm doing this. Like, I wrote all these notes and I had the bullet points and stuff. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Well, let's see if he gets in. And right before, when it gets heated up, I'll do the video probably in the fall, if so. But this is why I tell people, they think, oh, I'm just going to invest where I'm at. Where I'm at gets all this appreciation, Erica. You know, you buy them Southern properties, you don't get no appreciation. And I'm just like, we have people who come from California all the time and come to Texas and buy 2-3 properties. So now they're in Texas. This is why I tell y'all, anybody that's complaining about Texas and they're going back to California, they're going back to New York because the heat, the friends, they have no money. They didn't have no money, and when they left with like, they ran with a backpack on across the border. Like, they ran with what they had in their hands, and that happens. A lot of people don't travel; they don't go nowhere. So if Texas is the first place they ever moved from leaving California, that's what it is, right? So, my biggest concern, what I'm trying to get you guys to understand is, by someone selling their property in California, sitting down for a minute and going, okay, I sold this multi-million-dollar property, and I've shown you several creators who you're like, man, that's cool. They have so much time to create because they sold a house in California. They got to Utah and bought 2 houses, 3 houses, right? They bought 2 $250,000 houses in Utah. One's a rental, one's they live in, and their wife is still working. They can make content for the next 12 months. And if things get left, okay, honey, I'll go to work. I've met people who sold apps, sold their property in California, came to Texas, bought 3 rentals near Saline, Texas, renting them out for, I think, $1,800. And they were at an event with us, and we were like, well, what do you want to do? He's like, well, I'm real comfortable. And that's really the enemy of anything, is being super comfortable. But I'm super comfortable, but I know I need to do more. Do you know how many people don't have an extra $4,500 coming in a month from their property manager, extra $4,000 after fees? Not a lot of people. So, you know, I just want people to understand, once you own 3 properties in America, you're in the upper 1%. Apparently, like 60% of homeowners? I got to go back and find the stat, but it was like 60% of homeowners own a second property, and they consider, now this is the funny part, timeshares, condos, beach houses, all stuff, second properties. When Bernie Sanders bought his 3rd property, because you know he lived in Washington, D.C., he had 2 houses in Vermont and 1 house near Virginia. They were coming after Bernie Sanders. How dare you? You're one of the billionaires now. And he's just like, I live in DC for like 40 years. Can I buy an extra house so I don't have to travel so far or go all the way back to Vermont? You know what I'm saying? So I just want to show y'all that. And I know y'all think I'm always ragging on New York, but I just want y'all to understand, like, people ain't got $700,000 to throw around in New York if they're not a trust fund kid. They don't have $700,000 to be willy nilly, and then on top of that, fight in New York. I'm fighting them. I ain't doing all that. I'm not. This is why when people say, I'd rather invest in a non-landlord friendly state. Okay, well, good luck on that. Because eventually that comes to bite you. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. All right, so let me show you this. And again, y'all got to educate y'all children. They can't be out here with information that you can get off the cell phone. And I think I'm going to put her in 2 different videos. Yeah, I'm going to put her in 2 different videos. Let me show you this. Vlad's the worst, but this is the one time she was actually like, oh, like she was listening. That's the scary part. Let me see here. She's a little too old to not know, but okay, let's go.
$100,000. Somebody offered $250,000. Then now somebody offered $800,000, and we just gotta keep it going, man. Gotta raise the bar and raise the price up.
All these dollar amounts are all loans. It's not like they're really giving it to you in your pocket. They're saying, okay, we're gonna give you $1 million, but you have to earn that back. Really kind of like a bank. Like, okay, we're gonna give you this million, we're gonna give you this budget and blah, blah, but you got to earn it all back until you see any profit after that, which is the whole point. You don't want that million to be the last.
So wait, you don't keep the money they give you?
Not exactly. Not exactly. They'll give you, if they say it's $1 million deal, they'll say, okay, you get a certain amount of money up front, but then we're going to budget $1 million for your project, meaning that 200,000 might come from, your promo tour. Like the label's going to have to pay for all that. Your hair and makeup, your stylist and your makeup artist, the label's paying for that, but you're really paying for it yourself, right? But they're going to lend you the money up front. They're going to say, this is part of your $1 million deal. But, this amount will go to your makeup artist. This amount will go to your stylist. This amount will go to your travel. This amount will go to the promo. This amount will go for your studio time. And, the whole point is that you want to sell a project that makes 2 or 3 million.
Right.
That ultimately, after you earn back that $1 million, then you'll have some profit at the end. But keep aware that that's how these labels work. It's not really $1 million in your pocket. I mean, maybe some deals are, but most deals are not like that.
Wow. Try to offer me $100,000.
Please love your children. And if you love your children, how do you love your children, y'all? She too old to not know. She done been on tour too. That's the scary part. She too old to not know. And this, I'm gonna tell you this, and it's not a predatory thing. It sounds predatory. I'm trying to think of how to fix it better. If you're if you're somebody that's good at managing people and managing money, get in front of some of these people. I don't know if y'all saw the video I showed y'all. I don't know how many days ago it is at this point. But Grant Cardone was like, yeah, I reached out to Lamar Jackson mama. I told him I can make y'all billion. I can get y'all billionaire. I can get you billionaire status. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure Grant Cardone probably got a list of 100 big money black athletes. He's like, if I could just get 1 or 2 of these and buy up some more apartments. Boy. You know what I'm saying? There are people who specialize their business on going after these people. Look at the dude that just recruited Ace Bailey. That was his agent. Come on, man. That guy ain't professional anywhere. The guy don't even know to put on a suit and tie, appropriate jacket for the events, for the anything. Didn't know to tell the kid go work out everywhere just in case. You're only as good as your circle. You're only as good as your strongest link. Again, in Inner Circle, we have a real estate agent. I've got my wholesaler. I got a couple different people now. I'm like, you're only as good as your team. I've been out there before fighting dragons with one hand and fighting other people with my hand tied behind my back. I've been there before. You're only as good as your team. And that's the point I'm eventually get to here as the economy shifts. Like a lot of people will try to work the same thing and it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? Because the economy is shifting. But they're supposed to shift. They're supposed to have every 2 to 3 years a recession. Now I'm gonna show you this couple. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna get on economy shifts. Is this where I'm going? No, not yet. Let me show this. Let me show this first. Okay. This is how I moved my family to Europe from the US with $50,000 in debt. Let me make this big so y'all can actually see it. Put myself down here. And I hope these are educational. If you're enjoying this commentary, you're learning anything, drop a 1 in the comments. Let me know if these are helpful. If they're not, hey, it is what it is. I mean, I just know seasons of life and ebbs and flows. I already know how this is going to go. Get it, you get it. You don't. If things hit like I want in September, I'm down. All right, so let's go ahead and go over it. This is Cara Celeste West. Celeste. I have an aunt named Celeste, but anyway, let's keep it moving. We moved from a 2-bedroom apartment in an expensive city to a 1-bedroom apartment closer to my parents to save on rental costs and child experience. We turned our living room into a bedroom and our bedroom into a nursery for our daughter to maximize the space. Yes, that is literally them with the bed in where the living room would be. That means you ain't got no friends coming over. You ain't got no family coming over. This is y'all, you know what I'm saying? Like at least some people would pretend, put a couch out here, let people, you know what I'm saying? Have the table, put the baby at the table so that baby can eat and they can sit up. Nah, they straight up put the baby in the bedroom with all their stuff and clothes, put their bed out in the living room. Although some people seem we were crazy to do this, we were determined to cut our expenses. She didn't have to live like this, man. She had that bedroom right there where the baby is. But let's keep it pushing. We both sold our cars, and you see that truck behind them. Them trucks keep getting y'all messed up. We sold both our cars and took that money to pay down my husband's debt so he could leave his job as a restaurant manager. I found a remote job that allowed me to work anywhere as long as I work 9 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you ain't really free, but I understand. Let me keep going. We put any keepsake items in storage and sold our remaining furniture once we found somewhere to take over our lease. So they couldn't even break the lease, which is like usually 1 month's rent. Let's keep it moving. We joined a program called Boundless Life that allowed us to live abroad in Europe for 3 months with furnished housing, a school for our daughter, and a co-working hub alongside other nomadic and world schooling families. After living in a few different countries a few months at a time, we finally decided to call the island of Saros, Greece home, which we found through Boundless Life program. I joined multiple Facebook groups for digital nomads and expats living in Greece and found a lawyer to help us apply for our digital nomad visa. To apply for digital nomad visas, you have to sign a 1-year lease. Okay. We had to pay an application fee and attorney fee, provide documents, our marriage certificate, birth certificate, along with proof of income, health insurance in order to be approved for a 2-year visa. If you can do this, if I can do this, so can you. If you're ready to take the leap to leave the United States, put leave in the comments. Now, I'm not knocking this hustle. This is a good hustle. You know, she gonna make it's the $7 ebook. You don't think, oh, it's not bad. If 1,000 people buy this ebook, baby, that's $70,000. They good for 5 more years. You dig what I'm saying? And I just want you to understand, like, you know, people mad, like it's the same old story. We can go there. Same old story. Get pregnant, shocked that the world doesn't revolve around you having a baby, cost of having a baby, your job, like, hey, you got 10 weeks, you can come back or don't, you know, like people keep acting like this is the new, oh my God, this is crazy. Even after unmedicated and uncomplicated birth, I was hit with a $10,000 hospital bill. My insurance didn't cover any of my prenatal checkups or therapy for my postpartum anxiety. So you see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's just one of those things, you know what I'm saying? About 3 months into motherhood, I was overwhelmed, overstimulated. Now, here's the key. Now, people gonna blame America. They're gonna say it's because of America. It's America. Well, really, the truth is, we were not financially prepared for a child. We thought it was this, and it wasn't. We did A, B, and C. You know what I'm saying? Like, COVID happened. This happened. It's all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's all this stuff. So we've heard this story a million times. And I told y'all the reason I'm so adamant about some of the commentary I see out here is people be like, yeah, I lived in America. It was violence, crime, terrible, shooting. Everything was horrible. And then people be like, oh my God, where were you? LA, New York? No, I was in Memphis. And then you start asking them, have they traveled other places? They ain't been nowhere. I showed y'all the thing the other day where the girl was in Spain or Thailand and she was at a food truck camp. And she's like, oh, this country loves children. They let children play and you can drink beer and type on your laptop. I'm in Austin. There's 100 places like that. I sometimes have to wonder, where do you live at? Where are you living that you can't walk over to a brewery that's brewing this fresh beer, has an open space, you can bring your dog, kids can come play, and you can drink a beer and type on your laptop? Where do you live? And really what it boils down to, and I told y'all this, if you want to make any money on social media, I talk about a lot in Digital Warriors. If you want to make a ton of money, you can literally come out here every day and say the top 5 things to do in town. Pick any city in the United States. Just every day talk about the top 5 things you can do, eat, go see. Because people are so, I say lazy, but we're going to call it fatigued and tired. They work, the kids. That they're like, oh, I didn't know this was going on in town, and that was going on in town, and this was going on in town. The only reason I see some people actually even leaving the house is because they have kids. It's like, damn, these kids get on my nerves. Let me see if I can take them to the skating rink. Let me see if I can take them to the park. Let me see if I can take them to the museum. Let me see if I can take them somewhere. They're always trying to find somewhere to take them. Okay? So this is just poor planning in adulthood, or just like no one's really they're optimistic about, oh, I can just have a baby and life go back. No. Like if you're on the edge with your money now before the baby, shit. If 10K for a birth, that's a good number. Just being honest with you, okay? That's a great number. All right, so let me show you this. Let me switch out of here. Let me go over here. So this is why we have to be careful who we're allowing to talk to us as the economy shifts. And I will go, I got a few different things to show y'all, and then I'll go into what I was talking about. Let's do this. Okay, yeah, we still got a good screen. Let's go.
To take my titles and make them negative. I did that because I kept getting coaching, and specifically a conversation with Graham Stephan. Graham Stephan looked at my YouTube metrics and he said, Zuber, you need to grow your audience, because when you look at my channel, 75% of the views are all my people. You guys come back, you show up, you come back every time, and I love you for that. But in order to grow a channel, according to Graham, that metric needs to be 50-50. You have your loyal fans, and then you're bringing in new people. According to Graham Stephan, I should take a more negative approach, feed the doom loop. So I did that, and you saw it. Unfortunately, well, let me take it back. So again, I did that. It was my choice. I assume 100% responsibility. I am not blaming anybody. I did it. Let's be very, very clear. And frankly, it worked. For 4 or 5 weeks, my channel grew faster than normal. We had more views than normal. However, as somebody who still responds to each and every comment, I did not like what I saw. I did not like what I saw in the comments. What I had done inadvertently was grow by attracting the wrong person. What I started to attract with all these negative headlines were people that I don't want to associate with. I do not want to be around people who give up. I do not want to be around people who blame others. I do not want to be around people who don't understand simple math. And this kept coming and coming and growing and growing. And again, I was getting more subs. I was getting more views. YouTube money was increasing and increasing dramatically. But to me, it was poison. I do not want to be around those people. So you have probably noticed in the last 3 to 5 days, no more negative headlines. There might be 1 or 2 that will come up week to week, but that was normal even back years ago. I refuse to feed negativity. I do not want to be around people who give up. I want to be around wealth builders. And if that means my channel doesn't grow, so be it. So again, thank you all for being here. Thank you for putting up with my trial. Many of you noticed it and commented and said, what the hell are you doing? There's the story. And I appreciate you sticking with me while I just had to try this new thing. It won't happen again, or at least won't happen again for a long time. Sometimes I forget, but hey, there we go.
So I started watching this guy, and I didn't realize, he's actually very wealthy. I actually watched a bunch of stuff. Him and his wife ended up buying like 100 rental properties. They were both engineers, they had money. You know the story. We've seen it a million times in the fire movement. And the problem is again, people think, well, you got all this money, you got all this real estate, you should be happy. You shouldn't even be doing this extra stuff. Why are you even worried about YouTube growing? Won't you just spend money, run ads, all this stuff that people kind of say to people, not knowing, like, if you're in a group of friends and everybody's doing organic to a certain level, you're like, well, I want the organic too. And I just think YouTube favors certain people, especially if you sit around Graham stuff, and he knows, and everybody else knows, when him and Lewis Howes and all them got in the cabal and made that run, it happened like it happened. So let's get out of that before I get out of trouble. I get in trouble saying what I want to say. He don't want to be around people that don't do good math. He don't want to be around people who give up and are losers. And I think a lot of people think they're free to complain online. They're free to tell, oh, da, 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 da. And again, your mind, your subconscious mind. This is why I'm always talking about the confidence challenge. I'm talking about reading. I'm talking about improving yourself, because a lot of people could do better, could do more, but they're not even confident in themselves. This could be because their mom and daddy. This could be a life, all kind of issues. They playing it safe. I just don't want to try too hard, all that stuff. It reeks when you come online. It just reeks of failure and giving up and poverty and like Walmart smells. I don't know. It reeks. It reeks. It's really discouraging. And when you're really a go-getter and you get around other people, they're like, well, damn, why you pressing so hard, Erica? You ain't got to go that hard. And again, I'm at an age now where I'm seeing people and they're like struggling. They're like working hard. And I'd be like, I'm real sorry. I have some family members be like, Erica don't have no real job. I'd be like, oh, okay. And developed it and living it and enjoying it. And like, again, I'll talk about it in the shift. Let me play a second, this other part he has, and that'll lead us into the shift commentary. What minute was it? It was like 17 or something like that. Let me see. Yeah, here we go, right about here.
Cuts.
Oh no.
This year, 3 cuts this year, followed by 2 more cuts next year. The Goldman Sachs says the Fed is going to 3%, folks, 3%, which I thought was interesting. All righty, folks, we will wrap that up. Don't forget to check out Steadily. Steadily is announced by the political party, America Party. Well, I got to tell you, I like that name, the America Party. That's a pretty good title versus Democrat or Republican. But it'll be very interesting to me. The America Party, will it attract more Democrats or more Republicans? Will it be just a nothing burger? Who knows? But again, there is a new American or new political party announced by the richest man on the planet. We will talk about the Fed this week a bunch, given inflation week. They are in a tight spot. The fear is if they cut, inflation restarts. If the Fed doesn't cut, we go into recession. This week will be interesting. Goldman Sachs out was the really big update. Goldman Sachs saying we now see 3 cuts this year. 3 cuts this year, followed by 2 more cuts next year. The Goldman Sachs says the Fed is going to 3%, folks, 3%, which I thought was interesting.
Let me just say this. If the Fed goes to 3%, it's gangbusters. And if you ain't paid your student loans, then they hitting your credit right about now. Woo, honey, I feel bad for you. Because if it goes to 3%, the credit card companies, everybody, mama, like, let the printing machine go. Brr. Like, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be great for the big. Listen, Donald Trump and Lupin and Scott, whatever that guy's name is, they trying to grow us out of this, and I get it. That's the game. That's the game. We're gonna grow. We're gonna grow so much out of this. We're gonna sell public lands. We're gonna sell the draws off America's back so America can grow. And it's like, yikes. Okay, now I'm gonna show you this chart, but I'm gonna go back and show you Facebook. Let me show you this chart, and then I'm gonna show you Facebook again. Let me go here, and let me kind of break down where I'm going with this. Cause y'all gonna be like, oh, her and these bad drawings. You know what I'm saying? I gotta give you the bad drawings. You know what I'm saying? Listen, the goal we were going for was the shift book. First, let me show you shift book. Right, go. Let me show you the shift book. This is what the shift book looks like. Gary Keller's shift. It looks like this, okay? You got to work with me here. This is what you got, okay? This is what you got. So these are supposed to be very important time periods where you have the stars, okay? And we can call them mini recessions. We can call them shifts in the economy. We can call them whatever we want to call them, okay? All right. But let's go there. 5 things you'll learn from the book Shift. Shifts happen. All systems tend towards balance. Prepare your business, prepare yourself, use every resource possible. I'm going to just give you examples in this shift, okay? Every 2 to 5 years, people experience burnout in their businesses, what they do, shifts in the economy. You'll have a company running fine, and then 5 years later, it's in the hole. You'll have a company running 5, and then 2 years later, it's in the hole. It happens because there's several moving pieces in any company. You can either be the bottleneck, the fulfillment. I've seen a guy, his business is on top of the world because he had a great facilitator. The facilitator leaves, go gets married, have a kid, leaves the company, starts his own thing. Now that guy's company isn't as strong. He missing a piece, right? So let me give you an example. Construction companies. Let's just say the ups, right? Let's just say, for sake of argument, when you see the high points, the top, okay? At the top, let's say these are the good times. Let's just even say this is 2020, right? And all these people are building houses, and they're remodeling and they're doing all this stuff. And then as the 2020, oh my God, the pandemic, right? Well, let's stay right here. Then the pandemic happens. It's like peak pandemonium buying houses, right? So February 2020, houses were 245 in Austin. November 2020, houses are 496. This is peak pandemonium, people selling, people trying to get in, trying to move, trying to shift the environment. They watched a lot of Hallmark TV. They want to go to a smaller town and live their best life, right? Okay. But then as we go on the downside, those same construction companies are doing remodeling, repairs, fixing what, the new construction company messed up with, just doing work in and around that. So the marketing that you had that was to, the DR Hortons and the big names is now switched to the consumer who's doing it for a certain price. And you can't just come when you want to. You have to be on time. You have to depend on reviews. Your company's got to shift a little bit. You're still doing the same work. You're just shifting who's the client, right? You're really, anytime you're in business, the client is really who you answer to. I know you don't think so, but it is. Roofing, right? So let's say this same shift can apply to all the same thing. Roofing, let's say it's storm season. Gangbusters, lots and lots of money. When it's not storm season, what is your company marketing and doing? Right? What are they calling people? Say, let's check your attic for installation. Let's check your company for A, B, and C. Do you have other companies you cross sell with? A big dream of mine is to have a portfolio of companies. And that's a whole another conversation, but a portfolio of companies because that don't require my presence, don't require me to be there. That's part of my end goal. Is like the way I've built this company the last 12 years has been amazing. It's been fun. It's been a blast. It's taught me about marketing, sales, copywriting, everything you can think of. It taught me about working with people, working in group fundings, financial backgrounds. I've even went and did online business training in the thousands of dollars to improve myself along the way. And you have to sometimes ask, just stop and say, well, how much does this lifestyle I dream of cost? What's the type of house? How much does the private school cost? How much does the private flights cost? How much does the private pilot license cost? What are these things that would satisfy a lot for me? Is it just the ability to be able to travel in slow mornings? Then, okay, cool, noted. All right. So cement. If you're a cement company, what are you going to do in the summer? You're going to be doing driveways. You're going to be making patios for people to grill on. In the winter, you're probably going to be doing repairs. Okay. Because it's emergency and it's cold outside, right? Transportation, trucking, people are crying, oh, the trucking is all full. The gurus got me. The course is worth $97 for most of them people. So they got you out of $100 and you didn't do nothing with it. Now, if somebody calls and tell me they bought a truck, they ran it for a while, it didn't work, cool. There are several people, and I have so many screenshots of testimonials. We're going through so many computer hard drives right now, getting all our old testimonies and videos from the staff is helping me get them out. Where people bought a truck, ran it for 2 years and switched over to tech and doing great. And not only switched over to tech, the dude bought 3 rental properties after that. It's probably one of my best testimonials. And the thing is, people aren't willing to shift. They're going to stay with that same thing and they're going to make it work. Now, when I noticed a lot of people they have 1 or 2 semi trucks, 1 or 2 box trucks, 1 or 2 Sprinter vans. That combination right there is $1 million in a year. Just 4 semi trucks is $1 million+ a year. But the percentages are different. You're talking about a 10 to 15% industry, where if you make $1 million, you bring home 150,000. When in contrast, if it's digital courses, community consulting, that's 85% your money. So you make $1 million there, 180,000 is yours. That's why so many people are drawn and gravitated to coaching or groups or mentoring and all that stuff. Now, on the flip side, service businesses, you know, a lot of times you'll see a lot of commercials say, "Are you a business stuck at making 2 to 4 million?" Most of us see that and be like, "Yeah, that's great. 2 to 4 million a year. That's a great business." But what happens is that owner is taking home 20 to 30%. 20 to 30% is like 400,000 to 600,000. Now, that's still great money, but let's go there. We see a lot of people in the service business industry. They buy big trucks, they buy big houses, they go on ridiculous vacations, they party. And when times are bad or times slump, then they lose it all. They don't know how they lost it all. The tax man catches up with them, right? The average, there's like 6,000 or 9,000 roofing companies in Dallas, Texas that on average make $3 million a year. But if you ever hear some these people like, "Oh, I'm just holding on by the skin of my teeth," you're outliving your money. You're outspending your money. You're not balancing your money. You're not budgeting your money, because most of these roofing companies are just selling the service and then getting the same Hispanic guys to do all the fulfillment. It gets ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Again, I told y'all, when people say, "Why are you teaching middleman amends?" Because what I've learned at Apex and all the other places is the average guy that I meet at these companies, they have a guy that goes to the stores, does the calls. They have a lady that keeps up with the administrative work and somebody who fulfills it. That's it. No matter how big they get, no matter how they got like 5 guys in t-shirts and 5 of them are sales guys. One of the guys is an accountant. I'm just telling y'all what it is out here. Predictability though, right? Scaling is not hustling. And a lot of people get stuck in that space because they want to make more, but scaling is not hustling. Scaling is systems in place and you pulling yourself out of the space, right? So government contracts. There's a lot of people saying, "Oh my God, now that Biden's gone, they're not going to give out government contracts." There are people who literally have whole teams of procurement people that all they do all day and night is fill out hundreds and hundreds of government contracts, city, state, and local. We brought Eric Coffey onto the channel a bunch for y'all to see him and how he described. I just go for big federal ones. I'm gonna just tell you a little insight. If you have any of these middleman to million businesses, and we've talked, and I'll do a video in there for it. I'll go more in depth there. If you've done a certain amount of work, you literally can log on these cities and states and just bid blindly all day and night. All day and night. Like there's no limit. Like you can literally put 5 people on your team. Like I told y'all last week about Muhammad Construction. Just bidding all over these cities and states. And some cities might be like, "Well, you'll do it for $5 million? We'll take you." Knowing the deal probably costs $7 million to complete. But the guy's going to do his best to cobble a team up together. Now he's going to come from out of state or out of city, come to your town and try to convince the local guys there to do the work for lower. Then they probably been bidding on the same project. And they from there. That's where people get caught up. Okay. Now, real estate agents, inspectors, loan operators, the same thing applies to them. As when the economy's busting, they see in new house inspections. When the economy's in a slump and maybe people are trying to get HELOC loans or people are trying to refinance their house, now they're doing inspections for somebody who's trying to get a loan. Same process, same business, but different marketing. They're marketing to banks, they're marketing to companies. They still need to pay for Google ads, all that stuff. Media, social media. We've seen the rise and fall of many people. It's a 2 to 5 year journey. If you really go crazy balls to the wall and you don't build an email list, you don't build a community, you don't build a true business, it's going to suck. I'm just telling you. The reason you have, millionaires in real estate still coming on doing this, like there's a person who reached out to me like, "Hey, we'll do all this stuff for your back office for $1,500." And I was like, "Wow, that's really low. Thanks for the offer." But that was her whole business plan. It's like, let me just get 10 of these clients, 10, 20 of these clients and outsource a lot of the stuff. And I'm okay with that's her business plan. But she even tells you, she's like, "I wouldn't have started off in wholesaling." I'm not cold calling people. My biggest thing is I've shown y'all the kind list, the kind skip list. We'll buy 10,000, at contacts for $300 off there and give it to the Egyptian cold callers and let them cold call. We're gonna get it. We're gonna squeeze a deal out of something. Because these Egyptians gonna call. You know what I'm saying? So you just have to figure out, anything you see people teaching online, can they do it? Can they step away and do it in real life? They can't. It's crazy. The social stuff is easy money. Remote work, easy money. But I just always want people to understand, like, there's just more to it. Let me see. I was trying to read this thing to y'all, but I can't find it. I probably need to put my glasses on. That probably could help if I so I can see. It's all good. It's all good. Let's keep it moving. Now, the reason I brought this up, the reason I went over this chart, and I have a million charts. I need to relax with the charts, but I have a million charts is because a lot of what people are like, show me a real life example or something. You know what I mean? So again, I'm gonna show these two as real life examples, and then we can go from there. This is the first one. This is Jonathan and Megan have formed a strategic partnership for their endeavor. They're introducing Honor Culture, a holistic fitness and wellness community focusing on nurturing the mind, body, and soul, complete with an apparel line and wellness app. Let's move forward. Now, I already told y'all my my concerns with Simone, I think that's her name. So sorry. Doing an app for her private content, because I'm like, that's very 2020, right? But because of the celebrity status of many of these celebrities, right, they're still looking for a consistent paycheck, right? Like he made some money with Marvel, but he also got, hung out to dry there a little bit. And then Megan Good got money. She's been acting her whole life. But what are they both known for right now? Their fitness level. How quickly she bounced back from her divorce, and how quickly he bounced back from this court thing with her by his side. He married her, and she's older than him. So, that already has a certain draw to people. Okay. So honor culture. Okay. Again, I was going to go on a little rant, and I said, let me not do that. But there's a video, and I'm see if I can pull it up. And the girl was like, a lot of these people are pretending to be super religious because they can make money off of it. As simple as that. Let me see if I can pull it up. And I watched the video and I laughed because I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much what's happening out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you can see it, and you don't even get mad about it. See if I can pull it up for y'all real quick. Here it is. I gotta get to it. Man, I can pull it up. Almost. Let me see. Oh, goodness. When you want to show people something, it be taking all day. Hold on. All right, here it is. Okay. Before I get there into what she's talking about. But long story short, honor culture, right? It's just fitness, minority Black people in fitness, food, apparel, wellness. It's very much strong buzzwords. It's going to work though, because people like how they look. They just like how they look. It's attractive. How is she in her 40s looking like this? How is a man in his 30s marrying a woman in her 40s? You know the tropes. Also, let me show you this. Sierra Nicole is doing a great job. She is switching kind of over to real estate. She got a real estate license. And again, I told y'all, those videos on real estate make crazy money. Views online, views on Facebook, views on YouTube. People be so mad on Instagram. They be like, that's too much for that house. They be living in Connecticut talking about a house in Texas. Right now, if you want to make money, you're a real estate agent. I showed you two ways. This is the first one I'm going to show you, where you're showing a house because the commentary and the eyeballs, no matter, people love looking at the Joneses. What is the Joneses doing? What are the Joneses doing? Look at them people in Texas with the big old houses. Well, guess what? It's hot in Texas. It's raining in Texas. It's bad in Texas. Yeah, you know, like that. These people be losing it. They be losing it. They be online emoting about the cost of houses in Texas. You start responding to some of the comments. They're like, I live in California. I'd never leave here. Then why are you watching videos on houses in Texas? Who hate watches another state? People are out here being crazy. So the same thing's happening in Florida. You go on any of these Instagram pages on Florida, stop moving to Florida. We're full. Get out of Florida. Stop telling people about our city. And the engagement is so crazy. I actually know a person who makes $50,000 a month off of their monetization between Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And they literally, all they're posting is houses. And I literally laugh because they don't ever go back and forth with the people. It's automatic on the Instagram page. It's like an automatic response, like, thanks, check your email, check your DMs. So then it's pissing people off because it's going to their, it's DMing them or whatever. But it's funny. It's crazy. But this is another way to shift and pivot is you have a couple things. You're going to make money off the views. You can actually turn around and educate, which I'll show you again, the other guy. But this is just an example.
And Bloomfield Homes took that seriously. This new build behind me has 2 primary suites. Let's take a tour. I know it's getting colder, but tell me that it's not.
Sorry, I had to do that because they were going to hit me with no copyright strike. Okay. Bring a whole 19,000 down, for the payment, right? Approximately the FHA. So I can show you a million pages that do that. And she's just shifting with the economy. Again, same thing here. If you're a mortgage broker, if you're EXP realtor, you're a broker. And if you're spending half your time educating, his whole channel is educating at this point. It's educating. You want to make money? Educate. Look how many people copying him. Digital real estate, educating. It's exhausting. I'm not going to tell you, we're educating people is the most exhausting thing. I love it. I love showing people stuff they didn't know. Like, oh my God, I never did that. I'm like, yes, I told you something. Right. But this is the demographic you're working with. The complainers.
Pay attention, bro. 580 score, you can get a 1, 2, 3, or 4 unit for 3.5% down payment. If you have a 620 score, the lender will give you 5% towards your down payment. That covers the whole down payment and some of the closing costs. If you buy USDA, the down payment is 0 on a single family. If you buy HUDHomestore.com, the down payment is $100 on everything on that site. If you're a veteran, you can get $0 down payment on a 1, 2, 3, or 4 unit. If you use NACA, it's $0 down payment on a 1, 2, 3, or 4 unit. Excuses are like bungholes. Everybody has one and they all stink. Stop being so full of excuses. Stop being bitter at the world. Stop being mad at everybody. Learn the programs, pay attention, now go do it.
So you see, this is the difference of what you're going to deal with. You're going to deal with people who are coming with excuse after excuse, and they're angry. They're angry at their life. They're angry at the school the kids go to. They're angry about everything. If I only had 20, 50K, if people gave me the money, you're like, bro, why are you mad? You wake up every day and get to choose the game of your choice. Again, this is why you have to expose your children to travel. They have to move around, see different cities and states, because they losing it out here on the internet. They really getting upset. It's like, it's a million ways to win. Choose one. All right. And people want to do the least work. Like, people rather sell their whole, sell their car, sell all their clothes, sell everything and go live overseas for probably 3 to 5 years, unless they can figure out another lick 2 to 5 years, and they have more children and they miss their family. They come back home. Again, people do this all the time. You go all over YouTube and there's stories of people, we sold everything. We've been in Mexico 5 years. Now we got to come back because her mom's sick, his dad's sick, kids need us, something happened, court. And you be like, well, at least be grateful for the 5 years you had in Mexico. Be grateful for the 5 years you had in Portugal. Again, I wouldn't advise anybody to leave the country on low funds. You could be 20 years old and sleep in hostels and sleep on trains and sleep weird places. That's up to you, right? That's up to you. Camp outside. You can do all that. But when you start talking about 30s and 40s and 50s and kids, you can't do that. You can't do that. You have to have actual plans. You can't just fall out your house and just go somewhere. You got to have an actual plan. Okay? People ain't ready for that conversation though. Let me finish this out. Let me finish this real quick. This is another thing where people are pretending to be super Christians because this is the ebb and flow. Same thing, like I get it. People are mad with Beyonce about the country music thing because that's the ebb and the flow. Every couple of years, just the way I showed y'all, people are shifting away from the hip hop. When you see LaMelo Ball's brothers who grew up in wealth their whole life because their daddy and mama been salespeople making a ton of money in California, so much so they built a giant house, giant mansion long before they were on TV rapping. You're like, what? And the rap music is so filthy, you can't even play it in the car with your kid. Even the back in the day stuff was filthy, you couldn't play it in the car with your kids. As people get older, they're like, yo, I just want to listen to some Anita Breaker, some soul, some jazz fest music. Bring it down, bring the energy down. I was listening to Set It Off to get hype because I had a long drive the other day and I was like, oh, Set It Off, I suggest y'all. I was like trying to get hype, but I didn't want to listen to rap because I just feel it does a little something negative to your spirit. You know what I'm saying? And so country music is that place where they're telling stories. It's kind of upbeat music. The country you hear today is not even really country. I've heard country. My grandparents played country. You know what I'm saying? In the kitchen, they played soul music. You just had different pace of the music. They're even showing you where people are playing 1990s movies from Disney to their kids because the pace and the volume and the colors aren't so frantic and addictive. I'm watching more and more people online recording their kids, slapping them, hitting them, sugar addicted, fighting them over soda. And, there's a shift for all that. We're in the gentle parody phase. We're going to shift to something else. You know what I'm saying? Like in 2010, everybody wanted to have natural curly hair. All my life, they was picking on me and making fun of me and saying, is this your real hair and all this other stuff. But all of a sudden, 2010, yeah, girl, you should do hair videos. You should do this and that. No, y'all didn't like me in school. Remember? Get the fuck on out of here. Right? And so you start, everybody in 2010 wanted to have natural hair, but they didn't want to drink water, do vitamins, and eat fruit. They didn't want to do that part. Right? Then it shifted. You know what I'm saying? So every couple of years, it's going to shift. And you just have to catch that wave. That's why you see people with the hair growth serums, the Hotep, black seed oil, all that stuff. It's just a shift. You can catch the wave. You can make some good money coming out of it. Make 5 to 10 mil because it's open because most people don't want to do the hard stuff. And I've told y'all about businesses is, again, you got a $2 million a year business and you're making $400K. But if you give up 120 to an operator that's going to operate most of the day, 80% of the stuff with you. Any big issues, big charges, they still got to call you up and verify or let you get approval. But they run 80% of the daily operations, 90% of the daily operations. Skin off your back. You didn't lose anything. You're going to gain more freedom, more time, more places to go on vacation. By having a big boss dog at your company. That's what the difference between scaling and hustling. You're not hustling. Once you start making a consistent money, predictability income, what's your offer? Who's your operations? What's the vision of the company? The dream of people, y'all think I'm joking, is to be somebody's manager. If somebody has really bought into having a job, their biggest thing is like, oh, I'm the manager. You're like, oh my God, that's so great for you. I didn't know that was that serious, but it's serious for some people out here. They want to be a manager bad. So, you know what I mean? You want to put them over their stuff. They get the little bit of authority to, cool. A lot of these creators, you know what they want to do? They want to show up in the house, record a bunch of videos, and y'all just chop up the content. I'm busy. And that's what's been offered by a lot of people. Hey, we could just do this and we'll manage your thumbnails or do all this. You just film a bunch of it and send it to in a Google Drive and we'll chop it up. I'd be like, wow, thanks. That's really awesome. How much are you charging for that? Be surprised how low. Let me share this. is what I was talking about. This girl. Call it performance Christians, because that's what it really is. It's in season to do it though. That's why.
Oh, I have another rant. I'm in traffic, so why not? So I have thoughts, and I think the things that I'm seeing are all connected, and I'm going to bring it home. So I'm sure everyone has seen the video of the wedding when everybody caught the spirit and the groom was laid out prostrate in front of Christ. We've seen that. We've seen B. Simone in the zoot suit blazer and the hot girl summer shorts down to the revival. We've seen that. Here's my thing. And I'm not saying that these people did not genuinely catch the spirit at this wedding. I'm sure they did. I'm sure the spirit fell and everyone was moved. I'm not saying they're not. But a lot of this Christianity and religious performance is a performance. Like, first of all, everybody's catching the spirit. Somebody's in the pulpit with the phone recording everybody in the spirit. That's not crazy? Because why the spirit didn't hit you, cameraman? Second of all, the girlies doing this spiritual religious grift of I'm so saved, I'm denouncing my sorority, come get ready with me to go to 2819 and wait in line at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to the sanctuary. All of this is a performance to get a husband. It is a form of like religious pick-meism to get the husband. And it's just James who played the drums. You want this church as husband. Cool, great. And then once you get said husband, the performance does not end, because now you got to sell the dream. Now you at work. Now you got to clock in and you got to sell this Christian marriage, even at the wedding with everybody catching the spirit. Now you can't give it up. Now you got to keep going. Now you got to sell the dream to the singles, derogatory to them. Now you got to sell the dream to the singles on how to get your God-fearing prostrate in front of the Lord husband down to them. Now, because now it got to be goals. And then you eventually end up on the Dear Future YP podcast. That's the cycle. Right? Now you're hosting conferences. Now it's Pinky Promise. Huh? And God forbid you don't like men's. Now you got a beanie and Timberlands on in the pulpit. You're visually a stud, clearly. You going through coochie withdrawals and taking it out on Beyonce in the pulpit. It's just a lot. It's just a lot going on. And I just need everybody to... Yeah. I can't. It's just too much. But again, the girls want niggas. And once they get said niggas, the show is not over. The show must go on. You have to keep performing. You can't get divorced. You gotta hold his hand when he cheat. You gotta wear your bond, and you can't cheat back because God gonna punish you. You can't do nothing. You just gotta let him cheat because the devil won't take your marriage. It's just all foolishness. I'm tired. I'm so tired.
Okay, now y'all heard me say over the past, I don't know how many videos, there is this, where the church at? Why the church ain't doing this? Where's the shortage of men in church? Look at all this stuff. And I'm like, for those of us who actually legitimately grew up in church, went to Young Life, our friends got married right out of college, right out of high school, some of them, right? Like we really lived that life. Like Amy Grant, the what are you gonna do for Jesus bracelets, the conferences, the prayer things. I'm like, I'm having a flashback thinking about it. All that stuff, some of us really lived it. And I don't even just mean the Black church. I'm talking about interracial mixed churches, 1990s, super prayer warrior, the wrestlers coming out and breaking bricks with their head for Jesus. Do y'all remember that? Okay, TBN, all of that. Before the Paula Whites, before the Joyce Meyer, before some of this silliness, literally living that life, like legitimately, like I'm going out every day meeting people under 25 who've never been to church. Ain't been to church. Grandma ain't took them. They went one time with a cousin. It's foreign to them. Kev on stage, the funniest thing about Kev on stage is the people who know. But there's a significant portion of Black culture who are like, I never experienced that because they didn't go. Or you hear these Black boys online like, yeah, my mom, a single mom of 4 or 5 people took us to a pimp church or something. And you're like, your mom went where she was comfortable. As a single mother with multiple children, she didn't want to go to a regular church and hear adults give her counsel, wisdom, tell them kids to pull their damn pants up, and here participate in the young life. She didn't want that. That's your mom. Again, y'all keep forgetting crack in the 80s and 90s. Them women, if they was crackheads, are like 60 something years old, late 50s, 60s years old. Their children are in their 30s. If they have children, their grandchildren are in their young 20s, like 18, 19. So you've got 3 solid generations after crack. If they didn't get back into the church, into the groove, into the, you know, the scene, you got 3 generations of where's foreign. This is part of the problem you're experiencing out here. You call the mama, she don't care. You call the grandma, she kind of care. She working still. She ain't got no pension. She hood. I saw somebody show a video of their mama the other day, and she was throwing the middle finger up. I said, ooh, your mama, her 50s, 60s, throwing the middle finger up in videos? Tasteless. Classless. Erica, don't do respectability policies. Don't do it because, you know, white supremacy, it still hates us whether we wear clothes or dresses or act classy or, you know, have some manners. It still hates us. Okay. All right. The part of what I'm saying is the part of, you know, even Megan Good, where we just talked about Megan Good, that man she married for 10 years, they didn't have no children. Nobody at church said anything to that pastor like, that's kind of weird, sir. That don't even say that seems a little odd. Okay, you got pastors in Atlanta, you don't gotta say their name, cheating, having affairs, having outside kids, acting like, well, y'all just gotta forgive me, and then keep on perching the next Sunday, and nobody, there's no bishop, there's no deacon, there's nobody over them that's like, hey, he's gonna take a break. He's gonna sit down. Right? So it's a lot of performative. Now, I know they're talking bad about Jackie. I've seen Jackie. And her story is the same, is mom, hood, don't know how to be feminine, don't know how to be a mom. I'm dressing like a stud. I stopped being a stud because the Lord saved me. Pray to Gateway community stuff. And I get it. You know, I get it. But when you perform, and this is the key part here, when people try to do what's popular, which was won't be popular right now, it's the trad wife, soft feminine life. Yes, girl, I'm just here to take care of my man, all that stuff. You got to keep performing. If I can show you how many videos I've seen online where somebody had blonde hair, cute little nice girl, married, multiple kids, then gets a divorce, covered in tattoos. Oh, crazy, punk rock. You're like, what happened? Yeah, I got divorced. They left the church. There's a whole sermons on drifting away from the Lord and all that other stuff. I ain't gonna go into them. I'm not perfect. I ain't never been perfect. I ain't never subscribed to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? You know, I ain't gonna do that to y'all here on the internet. But I'm just letting you know, in this shift, what will be popular? Returning to religion is going to be popular when money is tight and people are struggling. Divorce rates are down. Y'all like, because of the economy, Erica. It's not because these men love these women. It's because the community, if you pay attention to married people, they'll have some semblance of community between a church, between their friends, between the kids. Oh, you got some kids, I got kids, let's go have a play date. You some divorced dude, the energy is like, sorry, we can't hang out with him no more, right? Divorced lady with kids, our kids don't want to be around your undisciplined kids, right? There's a whole fractions and segments and stuff like that. And so there's a shift in the economy. So people are going to do what's popular for money. That means they're going to get in the pulpit. That means they're going to start run groups and Bible studies. They're going to do that too. Because that's just what people do. Okay. Did I have one more thing for y'all? I'm done with it. I think I'm done. All this to say there's a shift in the economy. Enjoy the ride. Figure out on this chart where you are. What do you need to do? How do you prepare your business? How do you prepare yourself? How do you use every resource possible? Right? All the systems are set to balance, right? Can you leave and go on 2-week vacation and your business still run? If not, we got a problem. All right. Again, when I sit here and tell y'all, let me see here. Here it is. Yeah. We got, there you go. You take the sound off. November, December. September, 9 Sundays until the Octobers, seven more Saturdays till college football, 13 more Fridays till fall. Any of these ideals, candles, pumpkins, shirts, cookbooks, all the stuff I told you last year. Hey, you think about doing it? You might want to do it right now. You might want to let ChatGPT help you write that cookbook. You might want to let them put that digital product in your hands. You might want to get it rolling. You know, top 10 places to go ski. That's more cheap, you know, than Park City, Utah. You know, 10 secret Airbnbs you didn't know about. 10 towns that you can really bang for your buck. All this stuff, y'all. If you're ready to if you make some money, I'm telling you. Every day, post 5 cities you do this, 5 cities you do that. People want to be told where the new thing is. I don't know if I saw the video I did before on live tourism events, and then town sizing. Find a smaller town. Tell people here's the top 10 places you need to go see. My feed got inundated with Rhode Island. Whoever's been on the Rhode Island travel board is getting paid this year. Okay. End up getting a ticket because when economy shifts, right? These places that have been popular to old money, older people, if the older people can't come, they have to market to new people. All right. So I looked up the flight round trip was $132 to go to this part of Rhode Island. Rental car, basically no money. You can ride up and down this coast. And so they got to make their money while they make it. Some of these towns, they for real have sun and light for 3 months, and they got to get all the money they can while they can. I was telling this lady on the plane, I want to go to Rhode Island. She's like, it's expensive. It's so expensive to stay up there. I was like, I'm only staying for 2 days. She's like, it's expensive. And I wanted to be like, man. And she was from New York, and I just thought that was crazy. I wanted to say, man, like the hotel rooms are like $232 or something like that. I just was like, I didn't even have the heart to tell her because she was in such like an emotional state. You got to realize when you talk to these people and they ain't traveled nowhere in the United States, if they travel, one wrong move, they hurt. But these same people will go out of the country with no money in their pocket. You know, it's crazy. So anyways, guys, let me get out of here on this one. I hope y'all enjoyed that commentary. If you did, drop a 1 in the comments. If you want to see us in Digital Liberty Warriors, 13 Fridays until fall, 7 more Sundays into college football, we'll do a whole thing about print-on-demand t-shirts, cool ideals, creative ideals, and just running $5 a day ads to them, because that's really how you make money, where you make money. Also, any item you want to order from Alibaba, now is the time for it to get here in time for you to sell to your clients and to your audience, or just on Amazon. Anyways, you guys, this is your Erica Classic Line blog. No, we're not talking dropshipping. We're talking about actually getting private label products with your logo, your stuff on it, and sending it out. So you guys have a great day. Later. You've probably been seeing these commercials for Middleman to Millions course. What is Middleman to Millions? We're teaching so many people how to have service businesses. The upcoming year, one of the fastest growing businesses you will see are service businesses and digital businesses. Why is that? Because so many things need repairs, need maintenance, and guess what? We have a shortage of men and also women who can do things. Listen, I'm not the best with a hammer, but I know I can gather a crew of people to get things done, and that's what I've done with 2 of my service businesses. And that's what I'll be teaching if you check us out in the Middleman to Millions course. And look forward to us on the road with Digital Liberty Tour 2024. It's Erica Williams.